Welcome, one and all to the Olympus Amateur Smite League. My name's Willie Reed, and today on the desk, joining me is Zach. I would say the rest of your name, but it's going to elude me. How you doing, my man?
Not too bad. How about yourself? I mean, clearly you're going and doubling, tripling down on that deep voice thing that we're having this dynamic going for us. So I'm here for it, honestly. I'm here for an Aphrodite first ban also, but how you doing?
Oh, perfectly well. We are, of course, in the Crete division. This is the lowest division here in the Olympus Smite League. But honestly, sometimes it leads to the most chaotic and fun games I've seen come out of the amateur leagues themselves. Seeing some traditional bands go through so far, though, however, is this Aphrodite band targeted?
It's gotta be because seeing that this is the Crete division, generally we see the Aphrodite getting built with a team comp in mind, a team play style in mind, and unless you have that comp idea in mind, unless you have that play style capability, then I don't really see the Aphrodite as being all that useful. I just see her as another target at the end of the day, something that's just not going to get exactly what she's done. So seeing her ban, I wouldn't be surprised if, like you said, it's a target ban. Meanwhile, the Bologna, the Vamana, these are just lane bully warrior solos that are just dominating the meta right now. Chernobog, a good pressuring ADC, and Marticourse getting built up with double ADC team comps, and then the Thoth. Probably your just best and one of the only mages you can really
I will win
consistently
peace
play
by
right now.
force.
Yeah, it's been very strange. I guess it's reminiscence of other leagues as well. I believe we saw something kind of like this at the start of season 10, if I'm not mistaken here. Seeing so many hunters into that mid lane. Hachiman, speaking of hunters, locked in first on the side of Flaming Tanukis. I know how I feel about this god, but
Kukulkan.
I mean, I'll leave it to you, Zach, to just
Wisdom
describe how
shall be
useful
my
he is.
shield.
Late game scaling, he's got great range, he's got so much survivability. It's a phenomenal character, even with the nerfs that kind of came through on him. I see no issue picking this god up at any time. You know, he's always just been a fun one for me, and for some reason, he feels like one for someone like me. He's like one of the only characters I can land autos on. I'm a jungler through and through, and when it comes to landing auto attacks and range,
Hey,
it's just like it's miserable.
no, I
But for some reason, the Hachi
completely
feels good.
understand. Yep. There's something different about the autos. They put a little bit of extra
Face the
sauce
wrath
on
of a
it.
sorceress
Speaking of
scorned.
sauce, we actually seem to be seeing a double mage the game this time around. Both
Heron.
mages, Morgan Le Fay and Kukulkan, likely to end up into that mid lane. However, I don't know. I have not been keeping my eye specifically on this god here in the OSL, but I have seen him creep into that mid lane in else other leagues. How you feeling about this Charon potentially going support here?
Charon is probably the most flexible pick in the game right now. He's somebody who I have seen in my games alone, in ranked and whatnot, just playing in every role, like you said. He's somebody who has the capability to do. He's got good early game pressure, but the one thing that has
May
happened
the gods of
is
Valkyrie
there have been some
surround you!
nerfs this week, that's kind of brought him
Oh
down a little bit,
yeah.
brought him a little bit more in line with the other Guardians, trying to get this Guardian out of the lanes and
Yeah.
stop being such a bully to his counterparts. The Morgan Le Fay, though, that's just lane bully, good early game pressure, a lot of sustain with this character. And the biggest thing for me, which it makes me happy to see these mages come back in, is the conduit gem buff. Getting that double damage back onto it, double the true damage on it per stack. I think that's going to be huge.
No, for sure. Conduit Gem already a strong item even before they fixed. I think it was something broken on the passive itself. Now with that fix, we might be seeing a lot more majors swing, especially in this early game, clearing their waves far quicker. We're seeing bans onto jungles, Ravana, and onto Thanatos. It does seem as if we still have some major threats on a line. I, of course, love seeing gods. You said you were a jungle main as well, like Thor or Ratatasker with that global presence, especially picked up in lower divisions like this.
Yeah, I have to say, I'm absolutely surprised that there were no first round jungle bans, other than if you would consider Bologna and Vamana. Don't put their names together, doesn't sound
Yeah.
good. Um, the Thanatos is honestly one of the most staple picks, in my opinion, especially at lower divisions. I mean, I'm playing him upper ranks too. I'm seeing him all across the board. This pick is something that can just get around the map, be abusive, build whatever he wants, and get away with it.
Mhm.
Just so much in that God's kit, even with the nerf to him this week. It was very slight, a little bit less penetration, but he still does exactly what he does. That one, his scythe, hitting for not only its base damage, but also an additional 10% health damage on top of it, which enables this god to do just so much, along with
Warriors,
that too,
to
getting that
battle!
penetration. But here, look at this. 4 jungle bands, 4 assassin bands
Mhm.
right now. Ravana, Daji, Thanatos, and Thor. So you got some semi-global ultimate bands. Gods who just can apply a lot of pressure, a lot of global pressure. And then you got Daji, good for picking people, good for just isolating targets. And then Ravana, a brawly, I want to get in the face. I want to just jump on top of you and just be the biggest nuisance I can.
Okay, so it seems as if with these hovers coming
Listen
out from
to
Flaming
my
Tanuka, we have a
words.
good idea of what their general composition may be.
Woohoo!
I think the
Monkeys.
most yeah, monkeys is a good point there. I didn't think about that. We got two of the monkey guys locked in, loaded for the Flaming Tanukis. However, down on the side of Blood Wardens, I feel like we did not give enough attention to this Odin. I don't think I've seen this god once this entire league. This entire season, rather.
I love Odin. I have loved
Really?
Odin every season. I try to play Odin, try to find different ways to play Odin in every role. He's such a fun character, and I think there's a lot of potential for him. When I'm
I
looking at
am
this
ready!
team comp from the Flaming Tanukis, one thing I notice is, the Morgan Le Fay can get locked down. The Hachiman can get locked down. He can't get on that mountain archery and get away. The Karen can get locked down. There's potential there. If you want Sun Wukong to get out of there, he's got to get up into that somersault cloud. So I really like the pick. Not to mention the 100% anti-heal, decrease on the power, it's a phenomenal pick in my opinion. The one thing that stands out is that Shell is not the dominant first pick relic, you know.
Mhm.
So with that being the factor, you can utilize this Odin. Now this requires you to get active in the early game. Make those kind of rotations, whether you're upgrading teleport, just coming across the map, being there for that beacon, being there for that gold fury early, and just being a presence, being known, make them force them into that shell so they can get that phantom shell, you know. But once they get that online, it does feel miserable, and you got to play around the fact that they have shell, and if they have 2 shells, it's even more miserable because then one's always available.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see no Osiris on the side of Flaming Tanuki. A god that we've seen perform oh so well throughout this season. Perhaps the nerfs coming through this last patch were enough to lower him in the expectations of the Tanukis. However, seeing this Neja lined up with an Athena as well and this Kukulkan, I've got to say the Blood Warden's overall draft here is looking kind of demonic.
I see so much pick potential from this team comp. Whether it be a dash in taunt, blink in taunt from the Athena, just pulling somebody into that Spirit of the Nine Winds from the Kukulkan, or just the combination of the Windfire Wheels from Naja into, again, the Kukulkan Spirit of the Nine Winds, the duo lane itself just being an absolute bullying menace in the early game. I see pressure, Athena on her, get in there, blow somebody up, catch somebody out, and just applying fighting pressure to this dual lane. The Hachiman who wants to scale a little bit, Karen wants to fight a little bit more. Kind of had that mix potential there, but when it's a Blood Wardens team comp, it's cool. We want to get in your face. We want to brawl. We want to just be an absolute nuisance. And the biggest thing that I do see is objective secure with this team comp. That Spirit of the Nine Winds and the Desert Fury. If this Blood Wardens team comp can get on top of an objective, I think they have no issue securing it. Watch out for the Fear No Evil, but that's about it.
Yeah. I mean, great amount of zoning potential coming out from both of these teams. Like you mentioned, that Fear No Evil coming out from Hunbats is an important piece of the CC puzzle. It comes out from the Flaming Tanukis as we head over here to game number one. Both sides lining up. Doesn't seem like we have any unexpected roles that have been oh so fun to see this season, like we were mentioning with the Charon before. However, builds wise, is there anything thus far catching your eye?
I see 2 Sands of Times. No conduit gem as much as we talked about it, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think it's good. I think it's like, okay, conduit gem got its buffs. It brought in a lot of potential for these early game mages to get some good clear, and even some people who struggle with early clear, which is why I know I've been seeing a lot of guardians over in the solo lane, mages getting back and over into the solo lane, since it feels like with the nerf to the Warriors Axe and Phalanx, it brought that starter in line with the others, with the Blue Stones, with the other one that is just sitting, Warning Sigil, that was sitting on my head that I couldn't remember. You know, I think the Warriors Axe is more in line with this and opens up a lot of opportunities for what can be built over there. And it's allowed Guardians and Mages to get played over there yet again. So a little bit of a frustrating point because
Yeah.
you buffed this Conduit gem, you nerf the Warriors Axe, and that does open up the chance for the Odin too, which I'm kind of surprised to see him go the Warriors Axe.
No, I 100% agree. I do think what you're mentioning here with the sense of Guardians maybe re-entering the solo meta is something we should definitely be looking out for the rest of the season. Any kind of changes, especially with Void Dormammu on the board, it can really swing the gates open wide for the Guardians. But overall, I mean, like you're saying, no conduit gem, but I think it's going to work out fine for these majors. I love the CDR. Hunbats waiting over in the wing over here on the right lane, while Morgan Le Fay looking low in the mid lane. Big damage going on to the mage. While neither jungle has really gotten started here, Hunbats throwing the monkey in, trying to find his entry point, but so far, the game is just a little bit too safe for any jungle to get something started here. Scratch that? He's just throwing out some damage.
Yeah, Giants on PC kind of crossed wards, and the Blood Wardens knew all day that he was just there and sitting around waiting for something, waiting for them to step out or use an ability that would commit them in too deep. So really smart from there from the Blood Wardens, just kind of chill, even though they want to play as aggressive as they do. Not only just having this Athena on her combination, but when we were looking at builds before, I have a Mannequin Scepter on my on her. You know, that tells me we just want to fight.
Oh, certainly. And fight they do, but over here on the mid lane, this Morgan Le Fay looking pretty low. Going to be the first blood given away to the Kukul Khan.
Little too far forward for the amount of safety that you have, or lack of safety that you end up having. You know, your early game immobile mage. That's that. There's really nothing else to it. You get locked down with the sash from the Naja into some damage from Kukul Khan, and congrats. You're seeing the gray screen first blood going the way of the Blood Wardens, and attempt at an invade here from Catastrophic. But he's gonna back off.
Would have loved to see the Neja push a little bit higher for that. He knows he has Kukulkan in his back pocket. He knows the Morgan Le Fay is going to be a little bit late. He may have been able to put a bit more pressure on this Hunbats, because I think at the end of the day, Neja, they're both these gods, Hunbats and Neja, kind of playing for that level 5.
Yeah, waiting to see who gets that ultimate first, but a jump in over here in the dual lane. Good pillar.
Into the
impale.
top.
Yeah.
Row your boat on out of there, but now Athena's looking low. Hachiman finds a kill to make the board even 1-1, but Charon still just trying to find some safety on her CDs coming back up. Charon finds a barrier just in time to survive, and with Hunbats coming in, they can maybe be able to cover this on her escape. Leap for leap, slow does apply, gets the monkey off, takes a little bit of a tower shot here, but will just barely live.
Oh, that was so close for Zip Zap, and even closer, I think, for Giants on PC sitting there taking that tower shot in the early is never a good thing. But he tried to teleport a little bit too quickly on the monkey, and you can never teleport on first bounce. It sucks. I don't know why. You try to throw it out and you'll spam it as much as you can. It just doesn't teleport as smoothly as you want to. So was able to secure the kill. That's really good. Flaming Tanukis ended up pulling up 2 kills, bringing them right back, getting them shaking off the rust, I guess, from the first blood.
Yeah, I mean, with 2 kills in their pocket, they're looking quite nice here. Both jungles now, with their ultimates available, are looking to start getting really engaged here. They're looking to see what sides they can push. Is there any side or any lane that you personally would like to see kind of exacerbated by these jungles?
You're not really ganking a Sun Wukong. That's a given. A Nodin, there's some potential there, but given his build, likely not. I'm gonna hold up. Okay, they're good. I want to say this dual lane is gonna be the main focus. Kukul Khan just throws a tornado and runs away. Beats expected over here from Morgan Le Fay.
Look at the damage! Neja taken out in a mere second before they could even activate their ultimate to provide them some form of escape. Hunbat's just proving how much damage is in his kit here at level 6.
Yeah, it's the downside. You go the blink instead of the beats, and that's what you get. So A little bit of a trade-off right there. Even Giants ended up going the beads. He was a little bit worried about the CC coming out of Blood Wardens. There's really no time to just examine what's going on right here. It's fight after fight over here in the Crete division.
Absolutely. I mean, what can you expect from gods like this, right? We know that Honor and Athena want to play aggressive, like you mentioned, but Hunbats has been doing a good job of just stopping, staunching any potential pressure that these two could have here in the early game. And with Charon backing him up, we do get a taunt coming out from Athena, but with Hunbats just around the corner, looking a little bit low there, Athena gonna go down to the horsey on Hachiman.
Yeah, Summon Sticks comes through, and the Mounted Archery does as well. Good connect right there to secure a kill, but yeah,
Nisha! We just watched a murder.
doesn't slow down. It really doesn't.
We just watched a crime take place in the mid lane. Yeah, not respecting the 1v1 there. Neja swooping in out of nowhere to clean up that kill for Skokoken.
Yeah, Catastrophic able to get the sash on and protect his mid laner, because it felt like Arconic Prince was a little too deep right there, stepping up to the tower line of the Flaming Tanukis. Almost got punished for it, but was able to get away within an inch of his life. Now rotating over to this dual lane though, seeing if they could find something. Gonna find a bunch of wards, so no surprise there. Now finally getting into this 5-6 minute mark, and a lot of stacking items getting built, a lot of first items getting completed.
Neja on the side here as the contention for the shield buff just elapsed. Hachiman getting wrapped up by the Neja, uses his dash plus his beast, finds some secure for himself. But taunt in the hand of Athena, not quite. Seems to be down as Hachiman's able to retreat underneath the tower. Now we're looking over towards his purple camp as Neja's looking hungry. Wards get placed, but Neja grabs the buffs first, taking it away from Hachiman, leaving the Flaming Tanukis in a worse position.
Yeah, as soon as that buff gets touched, turn around and walk away in the opposite direction with it.
Yeah.
just run away. It is the greatest feeling ever when they just touch it once and you just go, all right, cool, bye. Anyways,
Hunbat's looking for the 3v1, gets wrapped up by Neja here in the jungle, finds a good Fear No Evil in return. River of Styx in the background, chasing out this Neja with a leap. Now Athena sweeping in is not fast enough, but Honor's here to save the day. Maybe not quite. The assault continues onto the Hunbats with a leap away. He may be safe. Spear of the Night Winds misses, finds a Charon. Hachiman trades out for the Honor, 2-1. Now Morgan Le Fay trying to clean it up, cannot find the kill secure onto the Athena, just trying to survive this onslaught coming out from Kukulkan as Hunbat sneaking into the jungle, finds the Athena, does not quite kill, but finds it with the autos.
the greedy lurk coming out right now, Giants on PC. First off, going for a purple buff that he had no business going for.
No.
You know, with 3 members of the Blood Wardens in tow, just hanging out in the area, still decided to step up, dump his ultimate, dump his damage, got picks off of it, and then to lurk afterwards when he's 1 HP and be like, yeah, I can get something else, I can get somebody lazy backing, and just did exactly that. That's criminal. You know, that's another criminal experience here in game number 1.
You mentioned it before, Zach. There's been a lot of fighting erupting across this board, and this is something that's more common, especially in the lower divisions here. We do know in the next 4 minutes, Stygian Beacon is going to be coming up when we would expect a lot of these team fights, but right now, looking at the gold, looking at the XP, neither side has really taken an obvious lead, despite the 7-4 advantage in the hands of the Flaming Tanukis.
It's that fighting without doing anything. We see it most common at the lower levels, and it slowly works its way out as you get to the higher levels. And it comes down to the comms of the team, the shot calling on that team to say, okay, cool, I'm coming and I'm ganking you for a reason, whether it be invading a buff, applying pressure to pressure the tower, to come and further pressure over here, maybe look for a Gold Fury, maybe look for the Pyromancer, look for something else. You know, it's like, what else are we doing with this, or are we just fighting to fight? You know, fighting to fight, you're not going to be building a lead. Like you said, look at the gold lead, negligible. Look at the XP lead, absolutely none right there. You got, what, half a level over in the mid, half a level over in the dual lane? I don't really see too much getting pushed in Blood Warden's favor, or likewise in the Flaming Tanuki's favor, yet the amount of fighting that they're doing feels like something should be happening, you know.
Yeah, I mean, they just don't seem to have the opportunity to go for something like a Gold Fury quite yet. We're seeing some attempts at invades, but none have really manifested into that significant lead that we're looking for. We do have 4 members of the Blood Wardens over here on this left side, particularly the Neja stepping near the lane right now as Kukulkan lurks into the back. They're setting up for something here, with Kukulkan now rounding around the corner after the CC is applied by Athena. Neja underneath the tower. Kukulkan here just a little bit too late as the sticks get summoned. Spirit of the Nine Winds touches upon nothing.
That's really unfortunate. You make the entire rotation over there as Arconic Prince, and now you got to go back and realize that you missed an entire wave that got pushed under tower, and there goes your half-level lead that you had. You know, it's that thing that we were talking about just a second ago. You rotate over for what? You're looking for this fight for what? There was potential there if they got something off of it, don't get me wrong, but it kind of just looks like they got the beads off of the Hachiman and the shell off of the Charon and the Charon ultimate. That was about it, you know.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that trading out for beads is not quite worth the 4-man rotation there. Hunbats will be seen over here into this mid lane. The clock is ticking. Stygian Beacon coming up here soon. Maybe not the most important objective in the world, but it's really the starting mark for these team fights to begin erupting across the jungle.
Oh, come on. I say it's an important one. I think it's
It's
even more
valuable.
important. Yeah, it's even more important now that they fix the fact that you gain the gold off of the towers that are destroyed by it, but it's important.
Wait, were you not gaining it before?
No, that was
I did not
a
read that
bug.
part of the patch notes.
It wasn't this recent patch, it was a patch ago, but yeah, there was an issue where when the beacon destroyed a tower, you were not actually getting the golden XP from it.
That's actually so troll. Once again, we do see the jungles lining up over here into this left-hand lane. You know, I think they may have heard us before saying that Soul Lane doesn't look too gankable, and they just keep on sending it down over here in the duo. River Sticks in hand. Neja needs to find his way out, and quick! Taken out by the Hachiman. Emma left shows up over into the dual lane as well. Silence goes on to Honor. He leaps further down the tower, just trying to survive the absolute projectiles coming his way. As Giant finds a kill, Hachiman finds a kill onto Athena. Now we could maybe look for a Gold Fury. We do know that Kukulkan's in that mid lane, just took away a tower, but it seems as if the Flaming Tanukis decide to take their kills and kind of return back to normal, return back to neutral.
Yeah, it was a really good rotation over there from the Flaming Tanukis, getting all those picks. That was really clean. But then comes the problem. What happened? You know, what are we doing off that? We ended up losing a mid tower. Now we're losing the beacon off of it. Hunbot's not having ultimate ready to contest the Kukulkan, who does have ultimate. They couldn't have gone for the Gold Fury there because there was a full health Kukulkan still lurking, still with that Spirit of the Nine Winds available. Athena could ult it back in at any time like she just did, and there goes the first beacon towards the Blood Wardens.
Yeah, and when they got Hunbats there, it was already a 2v1. Athena able to come in whenever she wants with that ultimate means that you just can't contest that beacon alone. Hunbats with no ultimate had no decision to really make there. He just had to give it up.
10-4 now. Approaching the 13-minute mark. First beacon finally done. First objective, I guess you can say, off the map. And yeah, this is solo lane. this is what's been going on over here. Just two meaty boys smacking each other. They have physical defense and health, and yeah.
Skinny Boy coming down the lane, locking into Sun Wukong with no ultimate available. This could spell disaster, getting knocked out with a stun. Fear No Evil comes out just in time to save his monkey friend. Emma left Charon coming down this right-hand lane, barreling down the jungle, ready to respond as the River Styx comes in to save Hunbat. Now Athena's not going to let that stand, taking down the monkey, while Odin goes in return to Emma left. That's now 2 for 1 on the side of solo lane.
Yeah, I feel like Rim Cleaner's saying you don't have to gank here. There's nothing going on. That was a fun little expensive time, and Flaming Tanukis, I'm surprised, made such a huge rotation over here to peel for their solo laner instead of, like we were saying, going for that Gold Fury that's still sitting up.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what's to be expected with the Crete division, right? It's not that they're bad players; it's that they lack the target analysis that may be seen in a higher division like the Athens or perhaps Sparta. We need to see these fights starting to result in more and more. We've got 12 kills on the board of Flaming Tanukis, and that's about a 1K gold lead.
Yeah, I'm sitting at 1K Goldie. Look at that, 1.5K experience, and it just doesn't feel like it, you know? We're all coming up to the 15-minute mark here in game number 1. and no team's actually built any sort of sizable lead. I'm trying to like look at this to see who's actually going to scale up better in the late game, and it's like,
It's
well,
hard to
Flaming
call.
Tanukis have the Hachiman, but Blood and Wardens have the Kukulkan, and it's like, eh.
No, I think you're absolutely correct. As we do see Hunbats try to go for another gank over here in a dual lane, using that Fear No Evil with Athena to respond on her. Will go ahead and get out. They are taking the shield buff here. That's something we can say for sure. Flaming Tanukis have found a way to consistently get a little bit extra. May it be from the gold and XP income coming off the kills, or just, every once in a while taking in one of these neutral objectives like the shield buff. They are finding their way in this game more and more. Neja coming down from the Sun Wukong again, taking him up to the skies before he can cast anything this time. So he will go ahead, taking that 72 transformations with Blink coming out from Odin underneath the tower, wrapping him up and taking out Jesus for mullets. Over here on the duo side, we can see as the action erupts, Athena not looking too hot, already at the half HP point, but with Koken on the other side here, they've got to play this safe as Neja teleports over from solo, knocking down Hachiman with a Spirit of the Nine Winds. This is Blood Warden's fight, looking at a 5v3 as soon as Odin teleports in. Morgan Le Fay putting out that early fear to catch the Odin off guard, but now with the big beefy boy here to stay, no ultimate in hand right now, but very soon, as this fight goes longer, goes more and more the way of the Blood Wardens, a significant lead as the Morgan Le Fay mid goes down, and we can see already Hunbat looking incredibly low with Charon dying in the background. Sun Wukong is perhaps the last line of defense between the Blood Wardens and this Gold Fury. Athena is looking low, so any contention could be significant for them, but it's already at half HP. If we look towards the ultimates, we can tell that they have no secure. This could have really gone either way, but with no one coming up from the Flaming Tanukis, it does fall the side of the Blood Wardens.
That fight went so long, I'm pretty sure we saw the Fear No Evil come up twice during it. You love to see it. And Blood Warden's actually getting the benefit on that one, despite being down in kills, despite being down in a little bit of gold, now swinging the gold lead into their favor, 2k now. So really glad they found something for them here, 16, 17 minutes into the game. A fight that started, I want to say, over in the solo lane where it's like, okay, we're ganking a Sun Wukong again. He's getting out again, fortunately able to pick up the kill, which was just really great, and then just rotated over to the fight that's happening in the midst of that over in the dual lane side of things, and I think it was just a really good play from the Blood Wardens.
Oh, I think you're absolutely correct here. We do have Stygian Beacon coming back online here soon. We do have a Pyromancer still available. There's plenty of space for Flaming Tanukis to recover what they lost. Hold up that thought here. Big taunt coming out. Leap underneath the tower. Misses the pin, though. Aegis does come out from Hachiman in response. Honor and Hachiman both taking significant chunk to their HP bars. Does seem like Blood Wardens just want to give up the Stygian Beacon after such a big win over in that duo lane prior. Fear No Evil catches no one. Hachiman goes down on the left side underneath the tower. And that is going to be yet another kind of pseudo win here for the Blood Wardens, slowly kind of mounting more of a lead in the hand.
It seems like Blood Wardens, or at least Catastrophic, just wants to see if he can keep getting this Fear No Evil on cooldown. I see him sash in, and then just here comes a Fear No Evil, like shortly after. He
I
is a
love
little
seeing
bit
that.
healthier, having that. Yeah, I do too as well. Having that Runeforged Hammer, though, he's got a little bit more health than his jungle counterpart, Giants on BC. So he's going to be able to at least have that going for him. But man, look at the CDR over on Giants on BC. He started with the Jotuns, went to Hydras. Now he's going into a Transcendence, which is going to hurt his mid game here a little bit. He's got to stack that Trans up. It's not as bad as it used to be, but still doesn't feel as good as it could. He's going to have 40% CDR immediately. Oh, God, hold that thought right now as the cage perfectly catches the Sun Wukong as he's trying to bird on out of there, and the rotation is being made from Arcanic Prince.
Drops onto the Kokon, misses the Spirit of the Nine Winds. Athena comes in with an ultimate. It does seem as the entirety of Flaming Tanukis make the rotation over this side with Sun Wukong. No ultimate, needs to get out of here with just the bird alone. Looking at just about 150 HP, 10 HP, and a dream as he passes through that fire giant pit. The rest of his team pouring on into this solo lane. Hunbats has the aggression of Athena. River Styx catching out too, but without a significant force here to show. Flaming Tanukis and Bloodwords are more or less just kind of looking at each other. TP coming out from Sun Wukong. We now have 4 of the Flaming Tanukis over on this side versus 5 members of the Blood Wardens. They're just trying to keep this tower alive, trying to keep the pressure over into this lane, but neither side has really turned it into something significant quite yet. I think the most impressive thing being that Sun Wukong somehow surviving.
It was a miracle. You know, he was clenched up right there, just praying for his life. And I mean, really for his life. But man, wanting to keep up this aggression. Blood Warden's now collapsing onto the care, and Tearing Dreams surviving within an inch of his life, gets taken up into the Windfire Wheels. I don't know if he's going to survive from that one. He's not. But who's in too deep? It's that Sun Wukong again, able to get up into that Somersault Cloud. And he ends up falling as well. That's 2 picks now for the Blood Wardens.
Yeah, I mean, it's starting to fall apart for the Flaming Tanukis. I think they were looking so good early on here in terms of the actual fighting, but because they weren't turning that into a substantial lead, they're now starting to lose everything across the board. Speaking of which, Pyromancer pulled by the Blood Wardens. Fear no evil, maybe saving the day, but still, no secure for the objective itself. Can't pick up a kill at this point as both ultimates on the side of Flaming Tanukis find no purchase.
It's really unfortunate. Looking to get something back in this game, but now Gold League getting up to 4.5, almost 5K here for the Blood Wardens. They're just kind of fine. Yeah, back to about 4K. Farm is good. They loves to prove me wrong every time. Like, yeah, let's start talking numbers. But that entire time, IW for Red was sitting over there, just split pushing the dual lane. Like, guys, I'm not going to be rotating over to this. I'm just going to get my farm. I'm going to get my XP. I'm going to shove down this tower and get some extra gold in the pocket for all of us. And I guess it wasn't too bad of a decision, because at the end of the day, when you look at the grand scheme of things, he traded the tier 1 tower for the Pyromancer, plus some kills both ways.
Yeah, maybe not the best trade in the world. Hard to really make that kind of decision from afar here. I do think Hachiman is looking pretty good here at level 19. We do see the Hunbats behind this on her, perhaps getting caught unawares. But with Athena so nearby, as beads get met by the Fear No Evil, it seems to be a traditional trade here. Beads for ult. The entirety of Blood Wardens kind of grouping up over here near this duocide once again. If Hachiman doesn't catch the wiser of this, it could spell disaster for the Flaming Tanukis Hunter. Meeting back up with his Charon, he's looking to be safe as the Blood Wardens now look to turn their aggression onto the Primal Fury. How do Flaming Tanukis respond here? Morgan Le Fay's the first one to meet. Half HP already on the Fury itself, and Spear of the Nine Winds will go ahead and remove it from the board. Now the question is, how does the fight go for the rest of his team? Flaming Tanukis, it looks like they're losing the ammo left already. However, turning the aggression back onto the Athena, are able to keep her alive by the skin of her teeth. Hachiman getting significantly chunked over here by the Kukulkan. In return, Neja going up into the sky here, taking down this Hunbass's HP bar. Both of them now looking fairly low here. Blood Wardens may have gotten the gold for you, but trade out 1 for the Athena.
Yeah, it doesn't feel as good though, you know. That was the support for that, and it felt like actually that Kanade was about to just solo Trombone King. I mean, granted, there was some damage coming in from the back over that, but the entire back end of that push was from Krone Kanade on top of Trombone King, just beating him down, just doing as much damage as he possibly could and seeing if he could get that pick, but ends up falling himself. So good, a little bit extra gold push for the Blood Wardens there, trading out their support. Now Beacon going down for the Blood Wardens as well. A little bit more gold in the pocket, a little bit more damage onto these towers, and kind of feels like, in terms of the overall state of the game, the pressure, momentum, it feels like it's in the favor of the Blood Wardens.
I think you're absolutely correct here. And it's almost baffling. It seems like they didn't hear you before there. How could they not have? About the value of that Stygian Beacon. It may not be the most impactful objective and across the entirety of the board, but giving up now a second one for what is almost free here, it's a bit baffling on the side of the Tanukis. They need to be playing these objectives better. They are not the first one to initiate them. They're not really securing many for themselves here. Blood Wardens have taken, I think, about 5 or 6 of the objectives out of the total seven or six ones that have been available.
Yeah, and those beacons too, those add up significantly. You know, the damage scales up, the gold you get in the pocket helps in going into the late game, finishing those fifth and sixth items, finishing your starter upgrades, which we are finally seeing some of these players start to get online. Seeing these starter upgrades is going to be the real big game changer and what's going to be deciding around this Fire Giant pit now as teams are fighting to clear wards here at the 24.5 minute mark.
Yeah, we are lined up quite nice here for Fire Giant fight. If you ask me, I've been loving the way that the Flaming Tanukis have fought thus far. They just need to be able to start transforming that into more than just the kills. They do seem to want to throw out a bit of damage over here onto this Odin. He should be able to find a secure way out, but look at this pinch point here. Hunbats is found with the Fear No Evil. Bees responding to it from on her, trading out 1-for-1 for the ult for Bees as Charon's River Styx comes pouring on in. The response is going to be a dead Hachiman on his side, but the choke point still lives. Charon goes down. How can this happen? That's such a great setup here, but not the damage to follow up. Now, Hunbat's Sun Wukong, the Monkey Brothers, try to take it on, but Neja separates them out. Sun Wukong goes up into the air as his brother falls down. No kills resulting in the Son of Flame Tanukis, but so many low. Jesus for Mullets also biting the dust here. Morgan Le Fay with no friends, no movement. See you later, girl. That's 5 still alive on the side of the Blood Wardens, and a Fire Giant has a potential prize.
The entirety of that felt like Flaming Tanukis looking for something. Started off, everybody was on the wrong target. Or, well, different targets, I should say. Maybe not the wrong target, but everybody was on different targets. Had they focused one person at a time, I felt like it would have been a huge game changer. Problem number 2, you funneled into a corridor against a Kukulkan, and there went your Hachiman's HP bar. That Spirit of the Nine Winds, as soon as that ripped through, I want to say it did a good 40% of IW for Red's HP bar. Gone. Sent to the gray screen. Then continue the fight again. Everybody's on different targets, and well, we see the aftermath. 5-for-0. Fire Giant around 5 members now of the Blood Wardens, and yeah, we went from, oh, momentum's in their favor to now everything kind of just feels like it's in their favor. They have just the entire presence on the field going for them.
Yeah, when these team fights really show up to have their value here in this late game, Blood Wardens are just proving that they have a strong composition and they have the know-how to push it. Taking down a Fire Giant and leaving that fight completely fine here after a deicide? It didn't feel quite right to me. The Blood Wardens are just doing it so well out here. They have the XP lead, they have 20s across the board, they have the gold lead, and now with Fire Giant in hand, they're looking at these last 2 tier 2s and they're ready to start blasting.
Yeah, we went from 4K to almost 9K right now. Such a quick lead swing. Yeah, almost immediately gonna pick up the Skull Fury, a little bit extra gold in the pocket to see if Giants on PC can get something off it. But
Fear no evil, yeah. No secure. That's the Spirit of the Nine Winds, right?
Yeah, there's no real chance of out-securing that. If you have a Kukulkan who's playing it right, he's sitting in the back, he's gonna be perfectly fine. And now, the rotation over to the duo lane for the Blood Wardens. Let's start cleaning up the rest of these towers. You still have 2 more remaining on the map before the Flaming Tanukis, and that's just extra gold in the pocket right there. That's going to help you get this, like we said, 6 item online, upgrade starters, get those pots. Really good position right now for the Blood Wardens.
Yeah, Blood Wardens are looking great here. We do see Sun Wukong trying to position into the back here. I'm hoping they allow the fight to push up towards the Phoenix, but Sun Wukong showing up on wards now gets turned on by the Blood Wardens, taking to the sky with a Neja, not quite the somersault of soul he may be looking for. Jesus for Mullets going down for nothing here. Is just getting turned on because of the proper ward placement, and now his team trying to respond. We got Trombone King going down as well. Charon still caught in the CC mess behind him, caught up by the pillar. We're down to only 2 members of the Flaming Tanukis left up, trying to defend this board against the all 5 members of Blood Wardens with Fire Giant. With 2 Phoenixes up, 1 tier 2 tower, this Titan is going to start getting chunked here. Odin teleporting back in. It's Hachiman Hunbats versus the world. Half HP on the Titan. Spirit of the Nine Winds comes out, cleans it up. And game number 1 will go the way of the Blood Wardens.
Man, I was going to say that, okay, cool, you know, we're going to clean up towers. It seems like the right decision. Blood Wardens having a little bit more of a pick-based team comp. We can catch somebody off and cage them up with Odin. We can take somebody up in the Spirit of the Nine Winds. I'm sorry, up on the Windfire wheels, and then, or just a dash on the arena, and good job to just pick somebody off. And then they end up finding somebody, and they end up finding the Sun Wukong with a phenomenal ward sitting behind them. Jesus for Mullets was just kind of wrong place, wrong time, and unfortunately,
Mhm.
good planning from the Blood Wardens. Spot him out, they get the pick that they need, and now that opens up the potential to go for the Phoenix. But even more so, I think what set that apart is as soon as that pick started going on, I see Rim Cleaner just 180 away from where that fight is with Sun Wukong, go over to the lane, drop the cage, and just prevent anybody from going in to save him. That was huge. The zoning that
That's
happened right there at the end
incredible.
of that fight was just immaculate. And then the rest of the team, with members still in the cage, just rotated in after picking the Sun Wukong. Great. Got one after another, cleaned up the fight, cleaned up the Phoenix, and ended the game. So, really good final fight there from them. I really liked seeing that one.
I mean, it was big part of recognition on the side of the Blood Wardens to recognize just how valuable the Odin would be against the enemy team comp here of the Flaming Tanukis. Like you mentioned at the top of the fight, or the top of the game rather, we had Charon, we had Sun Wukong, Morgan Le Fay, Hachiman. All four of these gods struggle, if not are completely unable to get out of the cage with Odin. Rim Cleaner showing off just how valuable Odin can be in the current metagame. And of course, I think a big part of that as well was just how valuable having both an Honor and a Kukulkan throughout the entirety of this game. The objectives just went their way every single time.
Yeah, they found their opening, and I guess it was okay. We're going to take this early game a little bit slower, which is perfectly fine. I mean, in the Morgan Le Fay, she's got good early game pressure. We're not obviously doing anything to a Sun Wukong. We tried a few times. It went okay-ish, I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
you know, but then again, you have this Charon who's a good early game abusive thing, and the Blood Wardens kind of just looked at it and they're like, cool, let's just kind of chill. We're going to scale up. We're going to get to that mid to late game, start playing around these team fights, start playing around these objectives, look for the picks, which is what our comp is designed to do. And once we get these picks, the objectives just opened up, and well, we saw what happened.
GG, boys. Now, that's going to be it for game number one. We are going to transition over to game number two here very, very quickly here. But we are going to go to a quick break. Once again, my name is Really Reed. I'm joined on here by Zach. We've got the Wolf Puck on Wolf Pup, not Puck, on production. Folks, we're going to head up to a break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
I heard you all say I am a monster. But I don't care if you speak ill of me. Thank you for speaking ill of me behind my back. I am only becoming stronger and stronger, like the firefly shines incomparably. I heard you all say I am a monster. But I don't care if you speak ill of me. Thank you for speaking ill of me behind my back. I am only becoming stronger and stronger, like the firefly shines incomparably. Can it be that I can see excessively? I need to breathe. Let it awake. I can break the cycle's back. My bad romance, my bad habits. Seems like I'm running around like mice in a maze. It's uninstalled and I can't erase. It I can go anywhere, walk the desert in the sun, lost and I don't care. I'm feeling lighter, lighter. At the finish line, you can't cheat me now. Fly like a satellite. I'm so far away, can't get me back. You wanna take it in my mind. Cloak and dagger, snakes and ladders. Think I know the reason why. It's always the weak ones who attack. You got nothing else in life, it's all that matters. Snakes and ladders. It's all that matters. Snakes and ladders. How does it feel to fall? Now that you're in this alone, no more comfort, 'cause those days are over now. I've seen that side. Can't believe I let you wear me down. All the memories unwind, taking me higher, higher. Past the finish line, you can't cheat me now. Can't get me back in my mind. I go snakes and ladders. Think I know the reason why. It's always the weak ones who attack. Got nothing else.
Welcome on back, folks. It's been no time at all. Break? What do you mean? It was only like a few minutes, am I right? Anyways, I'm really Reed. I'm joined on the desk today by the one and only Zach with the weird word name afterwards. If you want to pronounce it yourself, go ahead. Anyways, we are viewing the Olympus Smite League here in the amateur division of Crete. It is the Blood Wardens versus the Flaming Tanukis. Zach, how do I say the last part of your name?
Vexel.
Vexel.
Yes. Don't worry, I've
Very
had
good.
a massive amount of phrasings of it over the years. I've had this name for quite a while, well over a decade, and it's been the one and only was correct. I have not seen anybody else with a close enough name. I mean, actually, until I started playing Smite, now I have some people who have similar names who get us
Ooh.
mixed up. But other than that, I mean, no, yeah, nobody's had this name, which has been really nice. It's kind of a unique one.
Absolutely. Looks like we're seeing some fairly similar bands out thus far. Toth and the Aphrodite going first here. I think for the side of Blood Wardens, they're looking to kind of recreate the magic that they found in game number one, where they really took forward with that lead. As soon as things started falling into place, they started taking objectives, starting off with a Stygian Beacon, going for Gold Furies, Pyromancers, compounding gold XP on top of each other and just swinging for the high heavens. While Flaming Tanukis may have had a lot of kills, may have had a really great individualistic fights per lane, they did end up kind of flubbing it in the end game, unable to bring it all together. We do see a Kukulkan ban out here. Things are changing up, Zach.
Yeah, Blood Warden's doing their best to run it back, take it slow in the early game maybe, and scale up, get into the late game, and group up around those team fights, get the picks that they want. But with that Kukul Khan off the table, now there goes our two big mages. I mean, sure, there's still some other options. I think Merlin's still a phenomenal pick right now. And I mean, Karen, that's always an option. You can just throw him over there too. But outside of that, we end up probably delving into the double hunter team comps that we have been traditionally seeing as of recent. Vamana getting banned away over there for the Flaming Tanukis, knocking down one of those abusive lane bully solo laners, and then the Chernobog over for the Blood Warden, somebody who can compensate for the lack of rotations by having that global ultimate and being able to get around the map as he pleases. And then the Bologna to finish out the Blood Warrens again. Another one, lane bully, auto attack warrior, no surprise there.
So, Zach, why exactly are we only seeing these two mages? You've said Conduit Gem's been buffed. We know that Chronos. I don't know why I was going to say Chronos Pendant. We know that the other one, the Sands of Times, is just fine. What exactly is happening here in this mid lane?
Icarus.
I think it's you have this ability to play these ability based hunters very nicely. As we see the Martichorus get locked in for the Flaming Tanukis, I wouldn't be surprised if this goes over to the mid lane. You know, you run with the Jotun's trans build, you have a lot of power in your build, and then you can still go a nice scaling hunter, whether it be a Hachiman, as we see hovered over for the Bloodworms, or a Rama, who's I think a phenomenal pickup right now. You know, so there's a lot of potential there to just do those. Games go late, you scale up,
I
you
will
shred
win
objectives
peace
really
by
nicely.
force.
Wisdom shall be my shield.
It's I just think that the hunter builds are in a better position than the mage builds right now. You know, you're able to shred objectives, you're able to shred towers, you're able to shred people. And that's really what you want to do.
No, that makes sense. I mean, we've been seeing it time and time again from Martichorus to Chiron to even sometimes things like Cupid can really come out of the blue and start swinging to the high heavens with those blue stones in pocket. We do see a Hachiman and an Athena lined up for the Blood Wardens, a devastating
The law
combination, but
returns
perhaps
to
not
this
as much
land.
lane bullies as before. With a tier on the side of Flaming Tanukis, I have not been seeing this too much.
I was about to say, you said something about coming out of left field, and then I see a tier get hovered over here from the Flaming Tanukis, and this is the biggest surprise of the week for me. I'm excited. I want to see what this tier can do because whenever I see a tier, it's always okay. Is he going to be extremely telegraphed looking for that fearless constantly, or are we going to see some spice? Because I'm ready for some spice. There's the Merlin, though, getting hovered right now. And this is one of the other ones who I think is a really, really great mage. You know, I would put him up there in the top three with the Kukulkan and the Thoth. Somebody who scales up really nicely in the late game. Right now, there's a really good objective-based team comp with the Blood Wardens, but it's going to be if they can get to that mid to late game. You know, that early pressure kind of lacking right now. So I'm probably going to see the compensation over on their jungle side.
You are absolutely correct. I mean, Merlin and Hachiman are two gods that are going to excel very, very well into that late game. They may struggle against their lane opponents, against some Martichorus, against an on her, but as soon as these team fights happen, it's like we saw it last game in game number 1. Blood Wardens, when they come out to bat in that late game, they swing hard. It's just if the Flaming Tanukis can kind of manifest more XP, more gold onto the board per the kills that they find. I'm almost certain that we're going to see something very similar here. We're likely to see a high kill early game come out from the Flaming Tanukis. They just need to utilize it better. Bans coming out the ways of Flaming Tanukis and Blood Wardens. We do see that Ravanagon targeted once more. The Charons off the board, removing an important support potential for the side of Flaming Tanukis. And Nike going the way off the board as well, along with that Odin.
So the big thing you were saying about the Flaming Tanukis draft is like, okay, you know, you expect them to get active early. I agree completely. But my problem that I had from game number 1, and when I look at this draft here in game number 2, is game number 1, it felt like they were struggling to be on the same target. They were struggling to be on the same page. I don't know if it's a comms thing. I don't know if it's just something that they're not too used to. But this draft here in game number 2 as and the double hunter team comp just casually says like, cool, we want to be on the same target, you know, we want to be hitting the same thing, because when these two hunters are hitting the same thing,
Get to the chaka!
then we go to the next one, then we go to the next one, and there is a chalk that just got locked in here in 2024.
Oh, do
Okay.
you not know the sauce?
Please explain to me.
Okay,
The
so I
chalk
learned
sauce.
this from Solo or Troll. Chalk is very fun right now. If you are a solo enjoyer to any regard or any degree, please look into Chalk, building full defenses for the most part at least, along with a pred when going for that red upgrade on the glyph, whatever the hell it's called. allows you to stack up insane amount of procs along with the torrent, making one of the largest health shields in the game, perhaps even rivaling that of Nike. Now it's on a 5 second
Feel my blessing!
duration rather than a 10, but every time you pop your ultimate, it's effectively a full stop for the enemy team.
Huh.
It's so fun.
I'm interested, and I'm gonna be keeping my eyes on it in this game. I mean, he's got a unfun matchup into the tier. He's gonna want to just fearless him around, push him around over in the lane. And here we do see a Terra and Susano get locked in over for the Flaming Tanuki. Susano is somebody who's going to be good to abuse any immobile characters, and somebody who wants to get on top of carries, has a lot of mobility in his kit, and really, really does well when he gets his power spikes online. And then the Terra, someone who's very just team fight oriented and who we actually don't see a whole lot. So another surprising pickup for me, in my opinion. I'm going to be interested to see how the Tanukis utilize this one. And then the Wheelix getting hovered over there for the Blood Wardens. There's good potential there for this pick, but I'm kind of surprised.
I'm fairly
Go,
hesitant.
Suku!
Like you're saying, surprised here. Tara, of course, being knock-up immune whenever she has her deployables out means that it's hard for a Wheelish to pull the support back, which can be a very valuable option for her with her ultimate at times, especially into that late game. And there's not a whole lot of support on her team with knockups aside for Chalk, right?
The Merlin also has it in his Void 2.
You're
So
correct.
there's that.
Yes, that's
The
a very good point.
thing that I do see, though, and I say this time and time again when I see a Wheelix pickup, is there's a very big line that defines the difference between a good Wheelix and a great Wheelix. And a good Wheelix, it's how you utilize your ultimate. If I'm utilizing to get those plucks, get those picks off of my team, synergy, whether I wait for the Chalk ultimate, the Merlin 2 to come out, or if I wait for the on her jumps, whatever it is, or if I set it up for myself, great. But a Wheelix is a character who gets better and better with team coordination, team synergy, and enemy team anti synergy, meaning that she's a god who does very well in her own right. If you can utilize the ultimate for more than just what it says does on paper, then I think that's what defines a great Wheelix player. Somebody who can just use that ultimate to start the fight, And I mean, just
Mhm.
it's a massive, massive stim. I'm going to just grab the numbers so I'm not butchering this. Yes, you get
No, I
some
know
damage off of it.
exactly what you're talking about there. Yeah.
Starting level 1 of this ability, it's a 50% attack speed stim and 20 physical power. And then at max, it's a 70% attack speed stim
Mhm.
with 60 power. When I said at the start of this draft that the Blood Wardens had an objective-based team comp, then they locked in this Wheelix. If they go and walk up to an objective, pop that Wheelix ultimate, they will shred it down with this Hachiman. I see zero chance of any objective getting away from them at this rate. The one thing that they just don't have is secure.
Yeah, and there's not a lot on the side of Flaming Tanukis for secure either, right? Other than perhaps the Susano's ultimate in hand would be able to provide it, perhaps the On Her, but there's nothing quite like Spear of the Nine Woods, nothing like the Through Space of Time coming from Yanis, nothing like a Thoth with this big old Glyphy boy. There's nothing that can really secure it for Flamington or for Flamington Nukis here, so they do have to just play it safe. They need to keep their ward coverage high and be cognizant of what Blood Wardens are up to. We know from game number 1, they like those objectives. They are what provided them the lead to really mount a snowball against Flamington Nukis from mid to late game.
Yeah, you give them the chance to take these objectives, and I think they're going to run away with game number 2 as well. Flaming Tanukis are going to have to be very adamant about getting their picks, and like we said, with this double hunter team comp, yes, they can very similarly just shred down objectives, but I need to see them getting on the same targets in these team fights. I need to see them focusing the same person and just moving on from there, going from one target to the next and snowballing these team fights, because that is where this team comp is going to succeed. And if that happens, great. I can easily see this going to a game 3. If that doesn't happen, well, the Blood Wardens might be putting this one away too.
We'll have to see. Zach, I know you mentioned that you were a jungle main, but I was hoping to kind of poke your brain, hear your thoughts out upon this kind of start in the dual lane that we're seeing here. Hachiman versus On Her. How do you build the Leather Cowl versus Death's Toll debate?
To me, from what I look at it, Death's Toll is I want to fight. Hunter's Cowl is I want to play up into the mid to late game. It's really good in these double hunter team comps because you do apply that late game. What is it? Attack speed.
Mm-hmm.
If you do go with the leader's cowl. Hunter's cowl gives the attack speed aura. My bad. And the leader's cowl gives increased power to nearby allies. So has that going for them. So yeah, you would think it'd be kind of reversed, but I mean, you have the double hunter team comp over on the Flaming Tanuki side, and the Blood Wardens only have the single hunter. So am a little bit surprised. Applying a lot of pressure, there's a really good chance that over here they want to fight.
Yeah. No, absolutely here. There is a brief delay, of course, but we're going to keep on kind of rolling through it here for now. As we can see here, uh, overall, I think the builds coming out of them look pretty sensible. I don't know if there's anything that you're seeing that kind of stands out for you, but I'm going to love seeing this Chalk with the Bluestone into the late game. Does seem like he's choosing to maybe build into a Transcendence to start.
Yeah, that is interesting to me because his heal doesn't heal up with the power, and then I look over at the tier who ended up going with the Warriors Axe instead. So to me, it's like, okay, you know, when I feel like this Warriors Axe got brought more in line with the Bluestone, with the sigil, I lost it again and I found it. It starts.
It keeps on kind of running away from you there.
Yeah, it happens. To see the Warriors X consistently get picked up, though, it's kind of surprising to me.
Yeah, I think a lot of people currently value it, as we can see already aggression coming out from the jungle onto this Chalk, trying to knock him down a little bit. You were mentioning just how dangerous this Chalk has to kind of consider this fight against the tier, with Susano looking to kind of put out some pressure here, still sticking in that right-hand jungle here. Chalk may be looking at this as a first blood situation as they begin the assault over there onto the solo lane. Can they find it for the Fearless? Tier finds first blood. Susano barely alive, and a Wheelish all the way over in left lane means no return fire his way.
Yeah, eating 2 tower shots at level 3 does not feel good for anyone. You know, especially a squishy jungler. Now he's going to have to return to base. Hopefully has enough gold in pocket to get that tier 2 mace. He does. That is actually perfectly fine. I'm perfectly fine with what he did there now and was able to get away with it. Lucky wasn't able to get punished, so now with the tier 2 mace going to come out, swing in right here. It's going to be able to get his farm a little bit faster. Going to be able to fight a little bit better than the Awilix for this next minute or so.
Yeah, and of course, a Wheelish, I think, is just a god that's so strong early on, and then if she's allowed to snowball, that's when we really need to start talking about her. As we can see, invasions already coming out from the side of the Blood Wardens, looking to start it off just rude against the Flaming Tanukis.
Yeah, it's kind of what we needed to see over in game number 1. Go for these invades. Look for something off of your fights, off of your ganks, off of just the pressure that you're building over here. So I'm really happy to see the Blood Wardens actually doing that. And what we're saying about the Awilix being a good early game presence, absolutely. I think she's one of the best scaling jungles, but that early game presence is atrocious. When she hits level 2, she just shows up, and the amount of dominant potential she has to just blink on somebody, auto them once, auto them twice. Now I'm going to root you in places. I feather step you, and there goes over half your health bar. Has the wing shard to increase her attack speed, increase her movement speed as she chases somebody down. And then it's like, cool, now as you're running away, I have this knock up in the back pocket that I'm going to use to just get more autos on you and just chip you down even further. So really good god who can just burst you down early. And like you said, if she does snowball, oh.
It could spell disaster. Speaking of disaster, stun comes out from Terra. Susano blinks on in. Ultimate coming out from Terra in return. Do we see some kills here on the side of Flaming Tanuki? Yes, we do. Athena going down. The HP bars of Terra and Honor mean they need to go ahead and get on out. But Awilix just still nowhere in return to kind of catch these guys unawares. She's already backed. She's getting her farm. She's just kind of trying to keep up. As Susano now looking at about a half a level ahead.
Able to save the ultimate too for Athena. I think that was really good. Tried to cast it right there at the end, but didn't get into the casting animation, died before it could happen. So I think that's going to be really good. She's got a full prophetic cloak coming out of this back. Well, forced back. So I am interested with the prophetic cloak. You can proc it really nicely with the reach autos.
Does she go for it? Blink comes on out, looking for the on her. Terra in response. Can she get the leap before the tower shot? Yes, she does. Somehow living. Oh my god, she didn't even have to use the wing shard. That's so goated.
It is criminally upsetting. Man, yeah, not much to say about that one. I'm kind of surprised that Catastrophic was able to get away with that.
They just can't keep on getting away with it, and by can't, I mean it's the first time they got away with it, and they do seem to have some farm over. Oh no, not being stolen. Why am I even thinking that for a moment? Last time we saw the Blood Wardens invading, but no, having that go so well for her is incredible. It does set the pacing back in her favor, and does throw this on her a little bit behind the Hachiman in return. Now they're hovering over on this left side yet again. They've decided this on her is who they want to bully. Terra already at half HP, just trying to get her green buff before Wheelish and Athena decide to pull away.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part about making that kind of play, diving into the tower like that. Cool, you got the pick on the on her, but they got back here before you could, on top of their buff timers. And if you want to be on top of these buff, if you want to push the lead in this lane, you need to be on top of those buff timers. You need to keep that presence over here, because now it's just like, okay, cool. There's half a level, maybe, over there. Meanwhile, Susano has half a level himself. Marty Chorus has half a level himself. So gold, well, yeah, gold is actually negligible too, but experience is pretty even.
Yeah, all things considered here, we may have seen First Blood go the way of Flaming Tanukis, and it has been noticeable that they have a little bit more gold in hand, but that's not resulting in any items quite yet. Susano does get caught off guard by a taunt by the Athena. Terra backing him up here. No on her quite yet while the ultimates come on out. They're looking to find a pick here, but is it really going to be sizable here for them? Doesn't seem like it is. Athena's still half HP, pulling away. Marcoris takes to the sky to try to pull off into the tower himself here. Neither jungle finding a kill quite yet.
Yeah, ultimate expended too from Giants on PC. Ultimate expended over here in the mid lane from Trombone King. Gonna be a little bit difficult. Good luck though. Off of that too, like we were talking about. But the Susano walks away.
Yeah, I mean, for both jungles here, they ended up using their ultimates, not resulting in a kill quite yet. They are gods that are going to be, they're potent right now. They're definitely potent, but they're going to see more and more value kind of rise as their builds continue to kind of evaluate, right? Like you were saying before, a Wheelish is great early game, but if she comes online, she's a monster. Same thing with this Susano. As we come closer and closer to this mid game, we were talking about Stygian Beacon last game. We're looking to come closer to the 8-minute mark here again. Once these team fights start erupting, these two gods are the ones to watch.
Yeah, 8-minute mark, teleporters active now. Want to see solos just make a rotation. Just right at the 8-minute mark. You just start rolling over in the duo lane, just be a nuisance. It's like,
Just
you know
park.
what? Yeah, our lane sucks. We're coming over here. Blink over into the mid lane, though, looking for a little bit of something.
Going underneath that tower, just trying to catch off this Merlin here, living on a prayer. Far away to where he cannot be assailed upon once again. A Wheelish trying to just find a little bit more farm against this on her. Does not find the steal. Either way, she's now pulling away. I just love how much pressure she's putting onto this on her. And she just wants to be a bully here. She knows he can't leap away. He knows he can't leap away. Now with minions over under his tower, he's losing out on farm and XP here, and she's just continually being a menace.
Yeah, I suppose after you've kind of come over here and committed as much as you have, now it's just, all right, let's just double down. You know, you have none of your farm up. Sure, you can go and invade maybe a little bit more of their farm, but other than that, yeah, we can chill over here for a little bit longer.
No, I love what I see coming from her. It may not be setting herself up for a victory in part, but it is allowing Hachiman to more or less start gaining more and more in a lead. And we do know Susano is going to be a major threat later on here, but if some of that can be mitigated from the fact that Hachiman can kind of more freely rotate, all's fair in love and war.
It kind of tells me that the Blood Wardens are kind of banking on the Hachiman to be their win con going into the mid late game. Get this god scaling. We're going to be doing some work with it. And I'm perfectly fine with that. It's just very unfortunate to see somebody put themselves so far behind, like you were saying. in order to make sure somebody else gets a lead. It's like, cool, a little bit, I understand, but if you're just sitting over here and it feels like it's not really amounting to anything, it just kind of feels like it's all for naught.
While the game is still paused here for just a moment, our production's trying to get the game wrapping up again. As you see it kind of coming into action here on her underneath the tower, assaulted by the Wheelers, chunked away by the Hachiman, Zip Zap securing the kill. This is just bullying. This is nonsense. They are just rude to this poor man underneath his tower.
Is that a reportable offense for harassment?
I
I'm just
think
wondering.
it should be.
It should be. It could be. Because quite literally, that is exactly what is going on over here. Catastrophic has just pitched a tent in this dual lane right now. Pitched a tent on this on her, just making sure that he's got his number.
Yeah, no. Wheelish, as we can see, the net worth is starting to fall down on her side, falling behind this Susano. About by not 1,000 gold. Oh, sorry, no, it's only 300. Ooh, that's actually not too bad.
Kind of puts into question, where's Susano been? What's Susano been doing?
Where's Susano? Perhaps this is a moment here where, you know, there's a little bit of inexperience here in Crete. They may be good players. Wheeler's getting chunked away here. Athena dropping in. Susano trying to just find more and more damage on this Merlin. Athena trying to keep him alive. Horrific Emblem goes out to put a slow on Susano, keeping him away from the Merlin. Beads get popped just to secure his safety here. That will be Wheeler deleted off the board.
Yeah, Trombone King pre-beads is catastrophic right there. Pre-beads is the feather step from the Awelix. Gets back to the safety of his tower line. Awelix chasing a little bit too deep, gets into the tower line, and then the snap 180. I'm gonna root you right here onto the tower line, eats 2-3 tower shots, and well, that's kind of the outcome of that one. In a good position. I don't think he's too worried, and the buff gets stolen away here. So after that death, now you just lose your speed buff to the invade of the support and jungler of the Flaming Tanukis.
Yeah, I mean, these are two teams that are ready to go at it. We can see it by the amount of bullying on her received. We're seeing it now as they are more and more willing to kind of go for these invades. They are just looking for any kind of lead that they can start to surmount. Speaking of, Merlin coming in here looking to find some decent damage on the Martichorus, taking up to the sky into his ultimate to survive over here on the right-hand side. Tier leaping in. Does not find anyone with it, thus pulling on back. Both sides not securing a kill quite yet.
Yeah, not securing a kill, but I feel like we're getting back into that game one of not slowing down, fights all over the map, you know, don't have time to really talk about what's going on because, oh, there's a fight in mid. Oh, now there's a fight over into it. Now there's a fight over in solo, and look at the golden XP graphs. Nowhere. You know, nothing is happening. Feels like the lead that we were pushing over in the duo lane, sure, there's still a level and a half lead over there. It's great. It looks good. What are we going to do with this lead? That's what I'm concerned about.
Yeah, that's the big question. We do have the Stygian Beacon up here. Terra's the only member of Flaming Tanukis currently contesting it. And we know back from game one, this was actually a significant loss on their part, not being willing enough to kind of push in for this objective. Maybe they heard someone like Hazer say at some point that the original Stygian Beacon wasn't too worth it. And now they're like, you know, what if we just lose it? What's going to happen? What's the worst that can happen? Well, tower damage across the board, gold, XP, and a 5% objective bonus damage on the side of Blood Wardens here. And, you know, not a much attention coming from the Tanukis.
Yeah, when I first read the notes about the Beacon, I wasn't too hyped up myself, I could definitely say. But they've been bringing it up, which is really nice. And I think it's in a more comfortable position where the gold is worth it. I mean, especially now that you tower gold. We can talk about that one again, but I'm gonna hold that thought right now as this gank is coming out over here in the dual lane. No tier 1 tower available. There goes the ultimate from the Hachiman, getting that mounted archery, forcing the beats from the on her. It is not enough to save his life. He ends up falling. Ultimate expended, beads expended, and his life expended as well.
You know what I hate to see there? He pops the ultimate, or he pops the beads, then pops the ultimate. He's using both of his CC immune options against this Wheelish and is just falling for it.
Now Susano falling in for aggression on the side of this Gold Fury, gets the damage reduction coming from the Horrific Emblem. Now he's just trying to survive as this Hachiman proves level 15 may be too much of a wall to surmount for you alone. Martichoris over by the Merlin putting on good damage with Athena around the corner. Does he see the dash incoming? He does have ultimate available. He can get out of most situations. Does seem like Blood Wardens are just looking for an opportunity to go for this Gold Fury.
Yeah, we've been watching for the entire start of this game. Catastrophic over in this duel lane, getting active, being a present body, doing something over here. But it feels like once you said you're looking at that net worth graph, it doesn't feel like Giants on PC is doing enough to make up across the map. He's not applying his presence across the map in order to compensate for the fact that this Awilix is not getting any farm. She's not doing anything. She's putting herself behind and isn't getting punished for it at the end of the day. And now Catastrophic trying to take that fight against a Hachiman who's been put ahead at the expense of the Awilix. It showed right there, you know, even while starting to tank the Gold Fury, it just didn't matter. A half-health Hachiman just started willing down the HP of that Susano.
They're pulling the Pyromancer here. Merlin and Athena are in position to respond. They don't seem want to engage for it. Meanwhile, over here on the duo side, on her, once again, you find yourself in a very similar position here. You leap up to the sky. No ultimate from Awilish in response. In fact, coming out a little bit too slow here. That's going to be a lost ultimate for Awilish and a safe on her underneath this tower.
It just felt like she wasn't looking at him. I'm wondering if she is kind of turning a little bit slow, wondering what the sensitivity set at right there.
Susano with the pluck goes into the ultimate, but gets deleted. Absolutely no chance with Honor on this side as well. He needs to find his way on out. Use that leap aggressively. Martichoris and Athena, or rather Terra, just looking at the carnage from far away. Do they want some of this? They don't know. Goldberry gets pulled up by the Blood Wardens. Meanwhile, Flames Tanukis huddle underneath the tower and just go back to their farm. First objective, first Gold Fury going the way of the Blood Wardens once again. Looking fairly game one to me.
Yeah, we're looking at about the exact same time, too, that the Blood Wardens are deciding to get active over here and playing it through these objectives. Granted, they tried to look for that Gold Fury a little bit earlier, decided to back off, made a good call right there. Heat check, a little bit too much for them. Went for the Gold Fury there, perfect, got some good picks, nice. Now going for the Pyromancer. Only 2 members of the Flaming Tanukis available with some low HP bars, and that is going to send Kade to the gray screen. And now the Flaming Tanukis wanted to take the Pyromancer themselves, but decided to drop it.
I mean, no Hachiman on this side. If Susano comes on up, they can potentially re-engage. They got Tyr coming in behind this Awilish. We could be seeing a blink or something of the light coming out from this Tyr just in a moment here. Maybe not. Awilish is going to go ahead and get underneath that tower, be safe, has the support from the Merlin. Tyr has to back on up.
Well, 16.5 minutes now. Gold slightly going in favor of the Blood Warden, stacking items getting completed, other than this Prophetic Cloak over on our lovely Athena. Prophetic Cloak's a fun one.
I just like the way you ended on that. Just Prophetic Cloak.
Yeah.
Love it. That's a fun one.
Prophetic Cloak is this interesting item. Yes, I think it's really good. I think it is a great, fantastic item. But Prophetic Cloak requires a god who can stack the item well, and B, a player who can stack the item very well, you know? If you are on Bacchus or something, or you're on this Charon pick, I think Charon's probably the best person to stack it, but you're not an aggressive player, you're not going to get the stacks. If you're on a Geb, you're probably not going to get the stacks, you know? Unless you're just using that rollout aggressively and whatnot, so... It's a phenomenal item when it can be used.
Certainly. Speaking of phenomenal, Susano looking to get engaged here, but just gets destroyed. Every time he goes for that ultimate, it doesn't seem like he's hitting his enemies with it. Perhaps he's taking the damage himself. Blink comes out from the Awilish, does not find purchase, but does find good damage onto the Terra and Tyr to wrap them up with Zip Zap behind. That level 18 Hachiman just tearing the team apart. Seems like that early play of Awilish Hachiman just allowing the Honor to get completely dumpstered. By the XP and gold loss is starting to really come up into value because Awilish sacrificed herself over on that side time and time again to ensure Honor couldn't play the game. Susano was not able to follow up, and now we're seeing dividends get paid out across the board. Fire Giants pulled here, and the Bloodborns have a good chance of taking here before even the 20-minute mark. Athena's looking healthy, Merlin has enough HP to finish it, and the Titan's already below 5%. Titan's already got, not Titan, sorry, Fire Giant, why am I saying Titan?
Yeah, Titan's
Pyromancer getting pulled here. It's going the way of Bloodborns once again.
Big thing I saw in that fight is with the engage of the Susano, he gets horrific emblemed. The Merlin is in his ice stance. He's standing in the 2 of the Merlin damage. So that's slowing him on top of the slow from the horrific. He's not moving anywhere. He uses his movement abilities to get in there. Oh, it was rough to watch, and just watch his HP bar get melted, and with the damage that was coming out from the 2, and then comes the burst of the 1 from the Merlin. He just, yeah, I mean, 1-2 combo, 2-1 combo.
He doesn't get the knock-up. Wheelish does have ultimate here. With Terra coming around, there's a chance he can escape. Dash comes out from Athena with a taunt. Beads get popped in response. Susano's here to save the day, knocking up 2, but Merlin finds the on her regardless. Now can Susano live? Can he find any kills? Hachiman has to retreat back with his own ultimate. Athena still just putting on the pressure. Fire Giant on the rings, the hips of the Bloodborns means they do have more HP. They do have more regeneration. Don't know why I said HP. They have HP 5 rather, and they do have more damage in general. As this Marticoris getting ran down by the Chalk, Athena drops on in with a taunt onto the rest of them. Terra and Tyr need to find a way out as Merlin is just burning them alive. Sequestered beneath their tower, can Tyr get out? Inch of HP left. Can they find the final tick? Not quite, but Terra in response, they'll find one anyways.
Hey, it's 20 minutes. The soul laners are here. I feel like we haven't seen them since minute 1 when that initial fight happened over in the solo lane with the gank attempt on the Chalk. I have not seen these solo laners since. Yet there's a 3-level lead on Rim Cleaner. What happened?
Objectives, maybe?
Yeah, that's definitely part of it.
Yeah, I mean, towers across the board are going the way of the Blood Wardens. They've been getting the gold berries. They've got the Stygian beacons. I mean, this XP and gold begins to mount more and more. And as soon as you get a little bit of a lead, you can start taking those neutral objectives as well around the solo lane. It starts just becoming more and more of a problem. And Flaming Tanukis have yet to put up a solid defense around these objectives. This is the biggest plague for them right now.
Yeah, I think utilizing, granted, they're 11k down right now. Not a good position going into this mid game, well, late game. Now at this point, you got 1 tower remaining. It's a little bit of a difficult position, but gotta have to be careful. Yeah, you have to be careful. You got to make sure you're fighting as a team. I think that's what Flaming Tanukis are kind of struggling to do. We talked about it over in game number 1. It feels like they're not grouping up. It feels like they're not getting on the same target at the same time. I'm going to hold this thought right now because there is a massive charge incoming from the Blood Wardens trying to get some picks here.
They're looking for the Tyr. Tyr's looking to get out, knocks up the Chalk, finds a way beneath the tower. Susano is already out. It seems like the Tanukis are gonna get away with it. Of course, getting away with it means just they got a mana buff and got to live with it. Now this level 14 Terra stares down a level 20 Hachiman. This may not go the way they're hoping for if they progress onto this Titan. They've got some minions pushing up with the Only Fury. Chalk behind, knocking the silence out on Marticoris and Terra, looking to continue this aggression down here on the right lane. Tyr just trying to abate it. I wish the Flaming Tanukis would pull back into this Phoenix. Tyr just try and survive here, taking so much poke coming out from this ADC. You've got to mention just how much damage he has available for just clicking left click. Marticoris pokes on up for half a second, loses half his AP bar, gets taunted, loses his beads. Chalk now looking to just finish off his Terra as Marticoris takes the sky using his only escape. Susano getting sold off by the Merlin. The Blood Wardens are just breaking this team apart. Now, Trombone King has found a kill onto a Wheelish. This is a potential weight in for the Flaming Tanukis. Now that one member is down, Chalk is looking low as well, but with Stay Real's going down as well, that's going to be now 3 members of the Flaming Tanukis dead. Now make that 4. Marticoris is the last man standing. No ultimate in hand. He stares down the barrel against a Merlin and an Athena as they take on the bird. Level 18 Marticoris just doesn't have the confidence knowing that taunt's available. Has it still go out? Look at that health bar bleed.
20 seconds still on the first member respawn from the Flaming Tanukis, but the Blood Wardens not wanting to go in and pressure that Titan. The big thing that really stuck out to me that entire time is you're like, okay, we're in the Phoenix Siege. Initially, as the Blood Wardens were walking up, getting that poke over onto the tier, you're like, oh, I want to see the Flaming Tanukis back up to this Phoenix. It was a 4v5 at that time. The Merlin was walking back from their base. So the entire time, the Merlin wasn't present for that fight. He ended up crossing some of these wards over here in the mid, such as the one right there on that Pyromancer. To me, I'm like, I want to see the Flaming Tanukis go. You know, take advantage of this situation. You are 10k down, you're 11k down. Whatever at that point. This feels like that was the opportunity. You have that big AoE damage of the Merlin not here, not ripping through your team. Granted, the Hachiman is there. To be honest, Flaming Tanukis, jump on that Hachiman, do what you can to just put him in the dirt, and then move from one pick to the next. Go to the Wheelix. Congrats. Now both their damages who are present are gone. Merlin can't show up. You guys are snowballing to the rest of this team fight. Now it feels like you have a little bit of a presence. You're able to push back just ever so slightly and now start taking some stuff for yourself. Get some presence on this map. But unable to tell where the Merlin was, I felt like, until it was too late, was the issue.
Yeah, perhaps Susano could have started something there. Perhaps Tier could have started something there just to give their team that pressure. But when they're this behind, I just don't know. Matakoris and the Terra getting caught out into this choke point here. Susano and Tier rounding around the back to try to help out the team. Beads get popped by Matakoris. Chalk now sequestered away. Susano just trying to get that damage out. Finds a good purchase onto a Wheelish. Both of them looking around that same level, the same amount of gold, but unable to find a kill here. Flaming Tanukis are safe, but Blood Wardens still looking nice.
Yeah, every time you see an engage from the Blood Wardens, I want you to look at the ward vision around them. I want you to look at the positioning of the members of the Flaming Tanukis and see just the grouping of them right there. Fire Giants spawning, all 5 members of Blood Wardens present with wards already down, already ready to go. And there's members missing from the Flaming Tanukis. They spot 2 out. Cool, let's jump on that as 5. Let's see if we can get something now. Fire Giant HP getting down to about half. This is basic FG still. It is contestable very easily. Do you want to, though, as a good Fearless ends up getting some damage onto the Athena, but Wolfred ends up finding a pick himself over here, and Zipzap ends up finding a return pick over onto the tier.
Very nice coming out from the Blood Wardens, finding a kill on Trombone King there. Terra now looking not so hot here. Hachiman keeping up this assault down into the jungle. Susano waiting off on the wing here, ready to respond, ready to go on this Hachiman at any moment, but just doesn't have the confidence. Not against 3, not again. Fire Giant gets picked up here once more by the Blood Wardens. Susano can make a play here, can find his way in. No relics on the board, no beads, no blink. Has to be safe about this. Half HP already on the Fire Giant. Chalk here to respond as well. T-boarding in onto a ward. Half HP still on this Fire Giant as Susano starts to come around this corner. Looking to get engaged here. Trying to find the Hachiman. Gets a pull in. Knocks them up with the ultimate. But look at those HP bars. They're just fine. Giant goes on down. Blood Wardens find the Fire Giant. Now they're looking for what else they can take. They know that Phoenix is coming up over on right lane. But first they want to go ahead and back. Spend this gold. Get ready to go for a one more push.
I think the really unfortunate thing is it was maybe half a second before Catastrophic respawned and would have gotten it. But I mean, what can you do in that kind of situation when you're facing against a Susano trying to walk in and steal it out from under you? Now, not only do they have Fire Giant around 4 members, but the Transcendence just got finished stacked over on Catastrophic as well. So that's going to be a huge power spike. Get some added penetration, get some added power. Blood Forge on top of it too for some anti-heal. And I think when I'm looking at this Blood Wardens team comp, again, instead of we're in game number 1, it feels like they're in the driver's seat. You know, right now, it feels like all the pressure in the world. Group up, go for this week in Phoenix. No issues right there.
And honestly, things looked even a little bit more even into game number 1. Now, Flaming Tanukis have just been on the defense for oh so long that the chance of them finding the way back in this game is very low. If they find that situation where Merlin's away from the rest of the team again, or if they find a situation where they can get a good fight underneath a healthy Phoenix, not so sure about this one, then they have a shot of kind of bringing this back. Of course, this is not an enhanced Fire Giant. They do have a way of kind of just keeping this damage low. Good pluck onto this Wheelish here. She's already taking down half her HP. Susano could potentially find a kill here. Athena, big protections out with the ultimate here. Now with a taunt available, with a dash available, Susano has to get on out, but that allows for a 3v4 on the right-hand side, and Tier's taking use of it. Chalk already deleted and removed. However, HP bar is looking low on the side of Terra. She needs to peel on out. Wheelish has to peel on out. It's now a 3v4. Susano also looking quite low. It's anyone's game. Tanukis have turned it around. Honors finding good damage on return into the Hachiman, but with Tyr now meeting into this Athena Hachiman combo, no one there to save him. That's going to be another on the side of the Tanukis down. Now, once again, Blood Wardens getting ready for this assault. 3 in this lane versus 3. Now versus 4. Susano works his way up to the bird. Hachiman getting stunned into the slow here. Lose about a good two-thirds of his HP bar here. They do have to back up. They just can't find the end in this moment.
That's exactly what we needed from the Flaming Tanukis, okay? So there was the poke over in the mid. Looked really good, okay? You poke out the Susano. I'm sorry, you poke out the Awilix with the Susano. There you go. You get some good damage on him. You look for the kill. You force the Athena ult. Phenomenal. Now that's 2 members not present over there in the solo lane. And the Blood Wardens, I'm sorry, not the Blood Wardens, the Flaming Tanukis did exactly what I wanted. You know, the tier ultimate comes through, jumps right over the top, gets in there. That's the go button. That's the engage. Athena's not here. Susano's not here. Awilix isn't here. That's the one. I keep saying Susano. Awilix and Athena aren't present. Our Susano can turn around at any moment and come in for the pinch right now and make this a 5v3 over in the solo lane. They were able to fend off. They were able to get some picks. Only lost 1 life, being that of the tier. A little bit of an overchase, but I think right now, slowing the bleed, slowing down this Fire Giant push, which we should see another one coming in real shortly from the Blood Warden. Still, Fire Giant around 3 members, but I mean, I'm fine with how that went.
Yeah, I think the big question for me is, do you think that the Blood Wardens win that fight if they had the enhanced Fire Giant, right? We know for a fact here, now that the clock has hit 30 minutes, the game state is going to change. We have delayed it for long enough. Tyr has hit level 20. Terra's up next, but it's less important. Now everyone's level 20. They can build up their full starter items. They can finally feel like they're fully built. But will it be enough on this next major assault?
The enhanced Fire Giant is the rough one. The basic Fire Giant is like, okay, cool. Let's go around, let's clean up the map, let's get some map pressure, clean up some towers, get some more objectives, further push our gold lead. Great. The enhanced Fire Giant, now we're looking to crack bases. We're looking to really set the difference here, set the tone here, open up the base, take down some of these Phoenixes, and start to get into that end game. Well, not start to get into that end game. Get into that end game and put the game to an end itself. So it's going to really come down to this right now, and right already we see a 5-man grouping from the Blood Wardens over here at this Fire Giant, and look where the members of the Flaming Tanukis are. We have 3 over there in the dual lane, and this Fire Giant's about to be flashing to spawn.
Yeah, any minute now this Fire Giant will be the empowered Fire Giant, this big end game objective that can spell doom or gloom for the side of the Flaming Tanukis here as Tyr just gets taken on down. Good taunt coming out from Athena, catching him unawares and resulting into massive damage coming out from the side of the Blood Wardens onto their enemy team's warrior. Now it's only 4 to try to prevent this aggression onto the Giant itself. But if we look at HP bars here, we do know this Fire Giant's already at half before the Tanukis can even enter into that space. Now looking at with just a quarter left, Athena and Hachiman are holding it still just to play it safe. They're looking to see, do they want to push? Susano's push on out. Honors nowhere to be seen. The Athena can't quite get in. Blood Wardens take the Fire Giant. Now they see the Honors pushed on up. Try to get a taunt up, but he gets out of the way here. But with HP bars that low, Merlin's just chunking him away. Honor needs to pull back. Marticourse is looking good. Terra's looking at half HP. They do find Purchase away and are able to get off the back, but a Wheelish could come around if they get too lazy here. We do need to be careful with Honor. She does seem to be focusing on just moving down the center here. We do know Susano's over on this left-hand wing here. Does he notice everyone coming down here in mid? Does he want to look for it? What is he doing up here is the question we need to be asking for ourselves. How do they defend this Phoenix? Empowered FG around the hips, around the waist of the Blood Wardens. Big jump coming out from Tyr. Aegis in response, trying to keep this Merlin alive, but just look at that HP bar. Completely demolished, but Tyr in response goes down. Now, it's a question, can Marticourse hold this? Terra, use ultimate in response. We still have 5 members of Blood Warden staring down into this bird's eyes. Bird, chunked down. in, I don't know, 2 seconds, completely destroyed. Chalk, in response, half HP, has a bit of healing available, can maybe get into this, but Susano's definitely not going down the way of the dinosaurs as well. On her, going down with the Chalk, past Bluestone. Either way, this Titan gets pulled on up here. Same with the Terra, just keeping them off of it. It was a slow and terrific bleed tearing in from the Blood Wardens. They smelled that blood in the water, and they just kept on pushing for the win. That's game 2, and the set going their way.
The biggest problem for me right there in the end game was obviously, first off, tier getting picked. Okay, so we talk about tier getting picked, positioning, understanding where your teammates are, understanding that there's a big objective up. All 5 members of the enemy team are going to be grouped. They showed it already multiple times. Okay, cool. Tier gets picked. Put that aside. Next, cold feet from the Tanukis, not wanting to step up to this Fire Giant. Fire Giant is your 5th man, maybe even your 6th man if you do have all 5 up, Fire Giant's that extra body on the field. He's going to be dealing damage. He's going to be taking up people's time, and you are able to step up with 4. I feel like in my opinion, in that situation. And they showed over on that solo lane. We caught out this Chalk. We burned down his HP bar. Sure, the tier was there to apply some CC, but that was about it. You telling me a Terra can't do that? We can't root him in place with the Marty Chorus or knock him up with a Typhoon coming out of our Susano? We can shred this guy down. So if it's just him trying to look for the zone, cool, he's dead. And now it's, again, 4 for 4 here around the Fire Giant pit. Now we're forcing them off. So I feel like there's a little bit of showing face that could have been done right there from the Flaming Tanukis. That was just a missed opportunity. Some cold feet. Everybody's trying to come in from different angles. We saw Susano over in the mid buff, up by the red buff, getting spotted out and getting forced off. You had one over by the bottom, red junction, and then 2 other teammates. Everybody was just kind of spread out, doing their own thing, trying to find a way into this, trying to look for a steal opportunity. But had they come together, had they just looked for a team-focused, engaged, stepping up right there to force them off, deal some damage to some people, I feel like it would have been a way different story.
I feel like it's a tale as old as time, especially early on into a season like this. Of course, we are here on week number 3. The Flaming Tanukis can always bring it back, bring back that heat. However, right now, it feels like the core issue here is not that they don't lack, it is a lack of skill, but rather the lack of cohesion, like you're pointing out here. We saw so many times past in these last 2 games here where there were just picks going against them. There were so many times where it was either 1 or 2 people just kind of getting met by the full weight of the Blood Wardens and getting completely deleted. There was too many times like that. They just need to bring the cohesion closer together so that the full kind of power that they combine together can really be expressed.
Absolutely. Grouping, number 1. Warding, number 2, and just make sure everybody's on the same page. What is the idea that we're trying to do? And that's something that needs to be discussed in this Flaming Tanukis comms, going into the draft phase. What do we want to look for? Coming out of the draft phase, what do we have? What do they have? Where's our strengths? Where are their strengths? How do we need to play around this? And as the game progresses, who do we need to focus? What do we need to focus? How do we need to be changing things up? And then executing their draft. In this instance, we said it at the start, if they have both their carries on the same target, CCing people, just blowing them up, they will die. We saw it on that Phoenix Siege. That Chalk's health bar with the Fire Giant got absolutely deleted. A lot of potential from this team. Now it's just cleaning it up.
Yeah. Incredible work coming out from the Blood Wardens. They played it safe. They played it smart. We saw it time and time again from game 1 to game 2. As soon as they found some momentum, especially around that 15-minute mark, it seemed like, then the ball really rolled in their favor. Folks, that's going to be it from us. I've been Really Reed on the desk with the one and only Zach and the one and only Wolf Pup on production. Folks, thank you so much for your time and have a wonderful night. Peace.
crew way less. My crew the best.